Four U.S. airlines are battling for control of a lucrative new direct route to Beijing. Today, United Airlines will submit its proposal for nonstop service from Washington's Dulles Airport to China's capital. For a look at the flight plan, we are joined now by Mike Whitaker, Vice President, Alliances, International and Regulatory Affairs with United Airlines. Good morning, Mike. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
So what's the proposal now?
Well, our proposal is to fly nonstop from Washington to Beijing, capital-to-capital service. It's amazing that after having normalized relations with China for 25 years, we still don't have capital-to-capital service. 28 other countries have capital-to-capital service. Every major European, Asian country has it. London, Paris, Tokyo, Moscow, even Tehran has service from its capital to Beijing. So huge benefits from a cultural, political, and economic standpoint.
And what would it mean for United?
Well, for United, it complements our strong network to Asia. We have 20 flights a day to Asia. We have a very strong network in Asia. But it really means a lot for the Washington area. It's the largest U.S. city without nonstop service to Beijing, and of course with the political and economic base in Washington, a very important piece for the U.S.
Now, do you think that gives you an advantage over some of the other carriers? None are talking about Washington, D.C. as the city in the United States. Right?
Well, I think since Washington is the largest unserved market, it gives us a certain advantage. We have a very broad base of support. We have 8 former U.S. trade representatives from 6 different presidential administrations who have unequivocally endorsed this service. So I think there are benefits beyond those to United or beyond even to the Washington area.
Yeah, I don't understand with American, why wouldn't they go through Chicago at this point? They're proposing Dallas?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know why they've chosen Dallas over Chicago. Chicago is 4 times larger than Dallas from a traffic base, but they've made their decision to choose Dallas.
When will you actually find out whether you get chosen?
The decision should be made by the end of the year. The final submissions are due at the end of October.
Did the somewhat checkered past of United, does that weigh into this?
He takes umbrage at that remark.
I saw that. You've never heard anyone say that about United.
Name a U.S. airline that doesn't have a checkered past.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
We've completed a restructuring very effectively, I think, and we're situated to compete. We've been very strong in Asia for quite a long time, so we have a good brand in Asia.
Is there any doubt that this would be your most profitable route? They're talking about, the Journal points out this morning, some fares to Beijing could go for $800 in coach, $12 grand for first class?
Well, that was news to me.
Yeah.
The China routes are very strong. We have 4 routes now. We fly them with 3 of them with 747s. They tend to be very full,
which you think you can fill, right?
We do think we can fill, and we're proposing a 747 out of Washington, which is larger than some of the other proposals in 777s.
Mm-hmm. Would this be, you're ready to go, I guess, for the Olympics, too. That's going to be a huge boon for China, and it would be for United Airlines.
I think China has been gearing up for the Olympics for some time. It's going to be quite an event for China, and we are involved in that.
And there is never an area of discussion that we have that doesn't somehow get, we said the C word earlier. I think the C word is China. I mean, we even talked about Sheldon Adelson last week, making it the number 3 on the, that's because of Macau. It's because of people that love to gamble in China.
Yeah.
Put this man on the list. So I guess everyone just, it's very important, I guess, to get your foot in the door there.
Well, that's right. And we also have overwhelming support from all of the China experts at the major think tanks and at the universities that deal with China extensively. So a very broad base of support that's developed in the Washington area. There's a coalition that has formed, the Capital to Capital Coalition. There's a website, capital2capital.net, that has a lot of information about China and shows the very broad base of support that's developed.
The point was made this morning that DOT tends to make these decisions to be fair, to increase competition the most they can, and because American Continental have the fewest routes to China right now, maybe that they would be favored. What's your take on that?
Well, there are actually 7 airlines that fly between the U.S. and China, 4 U.S. airlines, 3 Chinese airlines, so there's actually quite a bit of competition. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be about airlines, it should be about the cities and the communities that get served. It's not an entitlement program for airlines, it's for the broader public benefit.
And you've got 8 former U.S. trade representatives that think you guys should win it. They're still mad that they could go somewhere else on a connection instead of flying right out of D.C., right?
China's a very long flight, and if you
How
have
long
to make
is it? Is it 24 hours?
Well, if you do it nonstop, it'll be about 15 hours. But if you have to connect someplace, it can push 20, 22 hours. So these people need to get back and forth. They need to have face-to-face contact. Yeah. And I think, given the importance of China in the U.S., we need to have that nonstop service.
I guess this guy was in the Nixon administration, one of the trade representatives lobbying for. Yeah, it goes across about 6 or 7 administrations, and they're all mad about these connecting flights.
Well,
They couldn't go from D.C.
And it was Nixon that opened China, so it seems
You're right.
appropriate that we get that
That's
nonstop.
fitting. Thanks, Mike. Mike Whitaker, Vice President, Alliances, International and Regulatory Affairs with United. You made sense to me. I think United should get it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Go to the website.
You're welcome. But I think they should go United.